Guess who's finally having their surgery? This one right here. Tomorrow, if everything goes to plan, I will be sliced open and fibroids will be removed. I'm okay about it. I'm honest, I'm pretty over all of this. Yeah, it's weird. When this journey first started with my uterus, I was terrified of the surgery. I didn't want to do it. I had, no. But going through not only the surgery, but like the post-surgery regimen, you know what? This is nothing. Am I terrified of my scar? Yes. That is the one thing that's scaring me. I hate the idea of skin being parted. I don't like it. Once it fades, I'll be fine. First 2 weeks I can't do anything to help it. I have to wait for my post-op to see when I can like start putting things on it. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to touch it. Okay, it's fine. I've gone through this before. I've had to remove cysts from my ovaries. Now we're removing fibroids from my uterus. What a life, what a party. With my eye, I did not look at that eye for at least 3 days. I avoided it like the plague, and that's what's gonna happen with my tummy. I got my test for the pandemic disease from the hospital on Friday, and since then I've been in isolation, and I've just been filling that time with food prepping. So much food. I have no B-roll of any of this. I've been making a lot of split pea soup and a lot of kitchery, and I've made that all before on camera. I am nervous about how this vlog and future vlogs are gonna look because after the surgery, I can't lift anything for 8 weeks, and all this camera gear is heavy. Like, I think I can get away with just the camera, but I'd have to move everything one at a time, and B-roll is already super annoying to get. It just makes me happy after I get it. I don't think that's gonna be a strong enough force. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have 2 periods during that time. Those are gonna be painful. I don't know what to say. I'm feeling it. What else? Dude, I don't know. Oh, that is the thing. I'm gonna be dropped off for my surgery. I'm gonna be alone in the hospital for 2 hours before they knock me out. And then after a 2-hour surgery, I am going to have my fibroids removed and a giant scar. No, I cannot do it. How's this? Are you recording still? Yeah, you are. Hello. It's update. I had the surgery yesterday. It was not what I expected by any means. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I'm just very shaken. Yesterday was hard mentally. I felt very traumatized by it all. And then, you know, I had to kind of like detach from my body to get through it, and that really helped. And then today, they finally removed the things that were causing a lot of trauma for me, and now I'm trying to like reconnect my body, if that makes sense. But yeah, everyone has been really nice. I've had like the best nurses and doctors, and they're all so understanding, and yeah, but I am in a lot of pain. So today they finally got me to sit up, then stand, and I had to go right back down. I felt so nauseous, so sick, so faint. Like everything went dark. It's like when you stand up too quickly. But like my eyesight went, and my hearing, not like literally, just like I got so hot, so flushed. And then I had the best sleep ever after that. Like, yeah, that was a workout. And then just now I've sat up, walked over to the bathroom, and then I walked here. And now I'm sitting on an armchair, just like amazed by how much this hurts and how hard this is. But you know, We are getting through it. I just feel very shaken. Hello. Not the best view in the world, but I'm on post-op day 2 and my epidural was removed. And now I know that epidural was doing so much because the pain is now here. It's not that bad. It just feels like there's a burning sensation, similar one to when you're on your period. So it's a lot, but it's not the end of the world. I'm either getting discharged tonight or tomorrow morning, so we will see. Guess who's coming home? Let me hold you here. I have been traumatized throughout this entire experience, but I get to go home. I just need to find someone to pick me up because everyone is doing something right now. We thought I was gonna be discharged at a different time, but I'm going home. My order of extra binders came in the mail, so now I have 3 altogether. Every day has been progressively better. The only issue is that, is this TMI? Yeah, that might actually be a bit too TMI. Just bathroom time is hard, and that's getting progressively worse the more I eat. Fill in the blanks. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that. But other than that, I'm feeling a lot better. Today's the first day that I feel like all the drugs have finally worn off. One of my side effects was blurred vision, which completely scared me. Completely scared me with everything that I have gone through in the past 365 days. I think my eyesight's slowly going back to normal. Wow, here I am on the other side. The surgery went well. It was actually a very bizarre experience. I had a lot of fears like right before it happened, but then there was also like confusion beforehand where like my doctor, my surgeon, is incredible and warned me of everything, but I think the best way to describe it is when I look back on the past 5 years, I wasn't me. I feel like I was in fight or flight. I was just surviving. People would tell me things and it didn't enter my brain. There was so much pain inside my body that I couldn't comprehend really anything. And I was living in this fog, and I was just, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. So even though I was forewarned for everything, I wasn't capable of actually taking that information in. I got my hospital bed, and I was underneath that really warm paper blanket that they heat up with hot air, which ended up becoming my security blanket. And I got the IV in, and it was so painful. It wasn't like the worst IV I've ever had put in, but it was painful, and I felt it all the way up until they removed it from me, and it was still sore for like a week after. And I thought, okay, that's it. Now the next big thing is the anesthesia, and who knows how they're gonna do that. That's a bit nerve-wracking. And then this guy comes up and he's like, all right, I'm here to put in the epidural. And I went, what? What? And he was like, it says here that you've been told about the epidural. And then like I had this faint memory of someone telling me, and I just kept going, I didn't think I'd have to make this decision now. Here it was, just like presented in front of me, and I had a freak out. I'm an over planner. I like being in control, and I'm just like, I didn't think, because I hadn't been thinking for 5 years. He was like, what's your issue with them? Let's talk through it. And I'm like, well, I saw my aunt get an epidural when I was 19, and ever since then, this is true, like ever since then I've just been like freaked out by them, because if you see an epidural get put in, traumatic. I will say the guy was great who put it in. So that was a good distraction for a bit. I listened to my theme song for this surgery. For my eye, it was All of Folklore and Evermore by Taylor Swift. For this, it was King by Florence and the Machine. Florence and the Machine was the singer for this whole surgery. And so I'm just playing it on repeat, and I'm like crying just sobbing. I go into the surgery room. I'm lying down. They've moved me onto the table where it's going to happen. They're setting up the anesthesia. But as I'm going under, I have this thought in my mind that what if they get in there, they open me up, and they realize they can't save it and they have to perform a hysterectomy, but because I haven't signed off on it, they just close me up. Then I wake up and they tell me I have to go under again for a hysterectomy and I have to go through this whole process again. And then I passed out. That was my last thought and I was terrified. But then I woke up and I had the weirdest thought of my life where I was like, this isn't my life. I think when I was under, I drummed up a whole other life, which I've never experienced that before, and I couldn't tell you what was in it. Since then, by the way, I have had the craziest dreams, and I woke up to my worst fear. Due to some past hospital visits, I'm very triggered by catheters. I think it's a catheter. I don't know how to pronounce it because I don't want to look it up. I woke up to one basically, and once again, they warned me, but I just wasn't conscious. Like I wasn't connected to myself. I don't know. I look back at myself pre this surgery and night and day. So they finally took me up to my room. Then all the nurses were there and I'm just sobbing to them about this catheter. And they're like, well, catheter. And they're like, well, the surgery went well. It was my dramatic era. Let's just say that. Yeah, I had a really nice room. It was beautiful. It had a view. Not that I could see anything. The whole thing was really weird though, because getting up, like you can't use your abs because you've been sliced open. It was just like an overall very weird experience where the best way I can describe it is in the moment, the pain and what I was going through felt so permanent. But when I look back, it's like this cloudy haze of like, that was nothing. And it's such a weird thing to have experienced. The doctor came to visit and said it was the most unclimactic surgery, which felt really great. The only climactic thing was me freaking out about a catheter. So the surgery was on a Monday. I left on a Thursday. I came home. I was so out of it. Like every day I thought I was better, but then I would look back and I'd be like, oh no, I was like really drugged out. On my 1 week anniversary, I was really struggling. The eyesight thing hadn't gone away. And I was constantly like throughout that whole week, every time I stood up, I was so dizzy and my vision would go black. And so I called my doctor and she said that the vision thing shouldn't actually be happening. That should have worn off already. And I was like, oh no, am I going blind? Did the surgery make me go blind? Is that happening? Because my eyesight was getting worse and worse. And the blacking out was getting worse. And the whole time, the only thing that I thought it could be is that I have really low blood pressure and it kept sinking way too low at the hospital. We tested my blood and it was shockingly low. So my surgeon was like, go to the ER. Went to the ER, did have a little freak out about that. Once again, everyone there was so nice. It was as though this whole surgery was like showing me that you can have a good experience in like these horrible times. And I feel like a lot of trauma was being healed. Long story short, I had a UTI and I was dehydrated because of the UTI. I was told I have to be on electrolytes. My body is having a harder time healing due to all the past surgeries. Let me tell you, those electrolytes, they taste disgusting, but boy do they work. I called my friend Bex. I met Bex like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? 5 months before I met Henry. And the two of them have kind of been like my constants throughout this health journey. They both saw the worst of it. I called Bex and I was like, for the first time in my life, I feel like me prior to getting SIBO, like prior to 5 years ago, and it's baffling to me. I still have SIBO. I did have a flare-up since the surgery. Very painful with healing stitches. I don't know what it is, but like this constant chronic pain that I've been dealing with for 5 years and the constant just depleted energy levels, I just feel healed in so many places that I thought was connected to the SIBO that might not be, and I don't know what's to come. I'm still healing. I still have a whole other month to heal. But I'm feeling incredible. I'm feeling like I can kind of take on the world. I mean, I've only walked around the block twice so far, and that was very exhausting, but I don't know. I just feel like me. Like, I feel like I have my brain back. I mentioned how every night I've been having crazy dreams, and by crazy dreams I mean they're stories. I used to get this a lot, where I'd have a dream not about me, but about other people, and it was like a full story, and then I'd write it down or something, and they're back, and I'm having these incredible dreams. And as I'm working on my stories now, I'm starting to see these like very, very clear answers that I just didn't see before, and it's like my brain is finally working. And yeah, like I said, I just think I was surviving for the past 5 years, and I'm finally me again. I feel hopeful. I feel like I can take on the world, and Henry feels that as well, and my whole family. Like, it's like I've just closed the door on an era. Like, those 5 years was a completely different era, and I'm entering my new one. And yeah, I'm just really happy.